All right, chapter 35 of Educated. So when we leave, the big incident just happened in 34. And so we find in chapter 35 said that she fled the mountain with her bags half packed. She just got out of there. And she ends up, after the new year, back at Cambridge. And she has this quote on page 290. It says, "I had seen the earth tremble, felt the preliminary shock. Now I waited for the seismic event that would transform the landscape." So she knows that this is not over, because she lied to get out of the situation at the moment. And now she's just waiting for the truth to come out, for Sean to become enraged. And so she says that it's early March when she hears from him. He sends her this cryptic, terrible email that is quoting Bible scripture, and then he calls her an hour later. And he threatens her. He is trying to say if he's going to kill her himself or hire an assassin. And he continues to harass her and call her and keep calling her. And when she, talks to her parents about it, Mother takes up for him, which is just disgusting. This whole story is just horrible. Mother takes up for him, says he didn't mean it. And then her dad, of course, wanted evidence, wanted her to have recorded the call in order for him to listen. So at the bottom of page 291, we have their, Let's see if I can get back on that. We have their reaction. So page 291 at the bottom. So Sean does cut her off, okay, and says, you're out of my life, and don't come near me, don't talk to me, don't have anything to do with my wife and my child. Bottom of 291. This is really devastating, and so this is really. I know that we talked a lot early in the semester about the fact that we know she's not connected to her family anymore, and I think you're going to see really quickly why that is. Bottom of 291. My parents said he was justified in cutting me off. Dad said I was hysterical, that I'd thrown thoughtless accusations when it was obvious my memory couldn't be trusted. Mother said my rage was a real threat and that Sean had a right to protect his family. Your anger that night, she told me on the phone, meaning the night Sean had killed Diego, was twice as dangerous as Sean has ever been. Reality became fluid. The ground gave way beneath my feet, dragging me downward, spinning fast, like sand rushing through a hole in the bottom of the universe. The next time we spoke, Mother told me that the knife had never been meant as a threat. Sean was trying to make you more comfortable, she said. He knew you'd be scared if he were holding a knife, so he gave it to you. A week later, she said there had never been any knife at all. Talking to you, she said. Your reality is so warped. It's like talking to someone who wasn't even there. I agreed. It was exactly like that. So, she's feeling that way about her mom. And so, this is gaslighting at its best. I mean, pretending like, the reality didn't exist and pretending like Tara's the crazy one here. And so that's a problem. So that's how we sort of leave that moment. And she ends up studying in Paris for the summer. And she talks about the fact, before that, I'm getting ahead of myself. So she studies in Paris for the summer. And, but pretty quickly she hears from Audrey. And Dad has come and visited Audrey and proclaiming that Sean has been cleansed by the atonement of Christ. He was a new man. And that Audrey should forgive him. And so she does. And then in doing so, she throws Tara under the bus, says that Tara is controlled by fear and the father of fear, Lucifer. And so Tara now cuts her off on page 293. And so this causes, this is the straw that broke the camel's back here with Audrey cutting her off. It's one thing for crazy Sean. It's another to lose her sister. And she says on 293, when I lost my sister, I lost my family. So this situation really throws her into this crazy tailspin. She starts questioning her past. She says that the memories all become distorted. Like she sees herself as the problem a lot of times in these memories. She questions everything, assuming that her truth is not real. She's assuming that, she's wrong about everything. Now, she does say that the journals are a problem because remember the journals were kept in real time. That she tries to say that maybe that she was so messed up that even her writings back then were also messed up. And so she's constantly seeking validation for her thoughts and her existence. And on 295, she's seeking out evidence of the truth of her past. She wants evidence that Sean is the crazy person in this scenario and not her. And she does come into contact with Aaron. And Aaron does confirm, yes, he was abusive. He was screamed at me, called me whore, all this stuff. And he choked me. Look at page 295, just below the middle of 295. Her letter was like a handrail fixed to reality, one I could reach out and grasp when my mind began to spin. That is, until it occurred to me that she might be as crazy as I was. She was damaged, obviously, I told myself. How could I trust her account after what she'd been through? I could not give this woman credence because I, of all people, knew how crippling her psychological injuries were. So I continued searching for testimony from some other source. So it's kind of funny. It's like she believes enough that this woman suffered psychological abuse that her memory and mind might be messed up, but it's like she doesn't believe her completely. It's weird. But right below that it says 4 years later, by pure chance, I would get it. And so now she has somebody on the outside, a guy, I might add. So that's an interesting conversation there. But it's a young man, and he witnessed the abuse on Aaron. And so at the top of 296, she says, and there it was, a witness, an impartial account. But by the time I heard it, I no longer needed to hear it. The fever of self-doubt had broken long ago. So this is 4 years later that this is happening. That's not to say I trusted my memory absolutely, but I trusted it as much as I trusted anybody else's and more than some people's. But that was years away. So the years away is this trusting herself completely, trusting others. So this is a long process. I mean, it's 4 years after the whole event where she gets the cousin to tell his little witness account. So key event here. Now you maybe understand a little bit better why she is still disconnected from most of her family.